Well, hi, it's Got That Funk, obviously, and I got tagged by Crosshair Jack to do another 5 facts video, and I guess that'll make 15 facts that I've revealed so far through these tags. Although, actually, you're going to get more than you bargained for in this one. You'll see why at the end. But anyway, thanks for tagging me, Jack, and I didn't really think I was going to do any more of tag videos on the 5 facts thing, but you know what? You're too nice of a guy to snub. So, here we go. Fact number 1. I became a man at the age of 17. Both in the way that you think I mean, and also in the legal sense. I ran away from home in November of that year because of a falling out I had with my stepdad. And things got kind of ugly over the ensuing couple of months, and basically I went to court and became an emancipated minor. And it's not a very normal thing to do, but it sort of needed to be done. I didn't have much of a choice at the time, and I'm not going to really ever go into the details of that. Suffice to say that because that happened, an awful lot of things that I would have been better off not having happened. But these things make who we are. So there we go. Enough said. I might talk about it in another video. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Fact number 2. Funniest movie or movies I ever saw. I'm going to give you my top 3. My absolute favorite, funniest movie of all time, I think, is Team America. Every single nuance of that movie cracks me up, from the opening credits to the intonation of the way the voice actors are doing the voices, the way the puppets are posturing themselves. Every single thing about it is fucking awesome. My second favorite, funniest movie of all time, I'm ashamed to say, is by the same people, and that's South Park, Bigger, Longer, Uncut. Actually, when that movie came out, I don't know if I ever laughed so hard in a cinema in my life. And also, it is kind of deep in a satirical, sociological sense, and I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. And my favorite, funniest film for years and years and years, up until South Park, was The Blues Brothers. I saw that, I don't know, more than a dozen times in the cinema when it was brand new. And then God only knows how many times I might have watched it after that when I saw it in the old late shows. And then, obviously, on DVD and video, I couldn't even guess. A lot. I love that movie. Every single nuance of it cracks me up. And I was always more of a fan of Elwood. Dan Aykroyd played that part dry and to perfection. I just thought he was the essence of cool nerd, wicked. Anyway, fact number 3. I'm going to sort of throw this out there to my new friend, The Reprieve. I wanted to hear about how I met my first missus, because I met her on the phone. I was actually working for my boss, who had to go to a management meeting on the radio, and so I was supposed to do an all-request hour from noon till 1 o'clock. And so I had taken all the requests to fill the hour by 11. So for an hour there, I just had to sort of let the phone flash and flash and flash and flash and flash. And then I started the request hour a couple of minutes early, and realized that if I wangled it a certain way, I might be able to fit like one more song on. So I looked over at the phone and banged on the button and answered it, and it was a British voice on the other end, and she requested a song by Yes, which just happens to be my favorite band. And I remarked to her that, she's the first woman I've ever had to request Yes, and she said, well, I'm their biggest fan. And I said, well, that can't be, because I'm their biggest fan. And as it turned out, I played her song for her, and because I did, she called me back, and we talked for the rest of my shift. And we talked again most of my shift the next day. I was working for my boss the next day as well. And anyway, after that, we met a couple times. We didn't really get together straight away. I was sort of infatuated with this other woman for like a year and a bit, and wasn't really ready to give up on that yet, although it was well past due. And when we finally did get together, which was in July, we met in February, and we finally got together in July and got married in the beginning of September. And then I moved to this country in October '89, and unfortunately, things didn't work out, but at least I got the kids, and they're all grown now, and everything's cool. Right, fun fact number 4. I'm going to have to think about this one. Hold on. Okay, fun fact number 4. My daughter's name is Asha. That's A-H-S-H-A, the same frontwards and backwards, and it means the breath of life. Now, how do I know this? Well, I don't. You could argue that it was made up. Basically, right the night that me and my first missus declared ourselves a couple, I got visited by an angel in a dream. I couldn't actually see this angel, mind you. And it told me that I was going to have twins and I was supposed to name them Asha, and it didn't make any sense to me at the time. And you know, we got married first week of September. That was in July I had the dream. And 9 months and a week after the wedding, my daughter was born. June the 15th, sign of the twins, Gemini. We had to go with the name. We just thought we had to. And the coolest thing about that is my daughter found someone else on the internet with a name spelled the same way. Her dad named her, had a dream, visited by an angel, told him he was going to have a daughter, blah, blah, blah. So that's pretty trippy. Anyway, okay, running out of time. Number 5 is a list of my top 10 debut albums of all time because Jack inspired me. Thanks for tagging me, Jack, and I hope you like my list. Okay, top 10 debut albums. Number 10 really needs no introduction. 1983, Madonna comes out with a brilliant album, I thought at the time. My boss on the radio said it was going to be just another disco flop, but I told him she was going to be big. He didn't really believe me. He didn't actually jump on Madonna until the second album, if you'll pardon the expression. Anyway, great record. Number 9 was Coolest Shaker for me. Back in 1996-97, I really got into this album in a big way. It sort of mixes kind of Indian influences with rock music in a fun and very British way. It's a wicked album to listen to, especially if you're driving, and it just reminds me of summertime, something awful. I love it. A few years later, Craig David comes out with his debut album, Born to Do It. Craig David's vocal style is pretty much one of a kind, and I think on this particular album he was trying to prove himself, and some people say he kind of overdid it. Some people can't even understand him because he sings so effing fast. But I think every single song on this record is brilliant, and I take a lot of shit for liking Craig David, but quite frankly, you know, get a life. This is a brilliant record. Back in the 80s, I was into the electro-pop scene in a big way, and probably if I had to name my favorite electro-pop album, it would be Yazoo Upstairs at Eric's. A close second would be Non-Stop Erotic Cabaret by Soft Cell. But this album is psychedelic as well as just cool as fuck, and Vince and Allison were both at the top of their form back then. And if you haven't heard this one, go buy it. At number 6 here, I've got The Cars. Now, The Cars came out in 1977. It's the first new wave album by an American band, actually a couple of years ahead of most other bands with the possible exception of Talking Heads. And every single song on this album is great. Didn't sound like anything else at the time it came out, which is true of most of the albums in this list, of course. This one's no exception. The Doors, 1967. I wasn't really old enough to appreciate this when it first came out. But it was a stunning debut. It didn't sound like anything else remotely at the time. Now, as it says on the label here, all these could tie for first place, but at number 4, I've put Van Halen. And now, every single song on this album kicks ass, and the guitar sounds like the strings are made out of chains, man. It's absolutely awesome. Eruption, Running with the Devil, Ice Cream Man, all great. Rage Against the Machine's debut album sort of kicked off the whole new metal thing, I suppose. 1992, it doesn't seem possible this album is that old. I think it fucking rocks. Every single song on this album kicks ass in a big way. And I don't know, I don't think I could ever listen to Killing in the Name too many times. I fucking love that shit, man. Love it. Now, this album, for a long time, I would have said would be my favorite debut album of all time, Led Zeppelin's 1968 classic. Now, Jimmy Page's guitar playing, in my opinion, is better than Jimi Hendrix on this album at the same sort of time. It was pretty much Hendrix and Page duking it out for Guitar King, and I think, personally, Jimmy Page was the better guitarist. Great album. And my most favorite album, and this is a recent acquisition of mine, is Funkadelic by Funkadelic. Now, I first got turned on to this album when me and my girl Jen were tripping shortly after New Year's. one of the best albums to trip to that I've ever heard. It's a great debut album whether you're tripping or not, and it's cool because it's not like anything else. Even Funkadelic didn't do another album like this album. Absolutely fantastic, and I highly recommend it to anybody and everybody.